Far beyond the equator, in the heart of the South Pacific, lies a land where ancient forests whisper secrets of the past and towering mountains hide stories untold. Welcome to New Zealand. You may think you know this place because of rugby, sheep, or perhaps hobbits. But trust me, what you're about to discover will blow your mind. These aren't your ordinary travel facts. These are stories of explorers, warriors, giant birds, and volcanic fire. So buckle up, adventurers. This is the 10 most mind-blowing historical facts about New Zealand. Let's begin. Fact number 1. The last major land to be settled by humans. Close your eyes and imagine a world untouched by human hands. For millions of years, New Zealand stood alone, hidden far beyond the Polynesian world, its forests ruled by birds, its skies free of human eyes. It wasn't until around 1280 to 1350 AD that the Maori, the great Polynesian navigators, crossed vast oceans in waka, canoes, guided only by the stars, ocean currents, and birds. When they arrived, they named it Aotearoa, the land of the long white cloud. Think about that. While Europe, Asia, and the Americas were thriving with civilizations, New Zealand was still untouched, one of the last major land masses on Earth to be discovered by humans. It wasn't just the end of a voyage, it was the start of a new world. Fact number 2. Home of the mighty Haast's eagle, the largest eagle that ever lived. Picture this: soaring through the forests of ancient New Zealand was a bird so powerful it could take down a creature larger than a man. Meet the Haast's eagle, the largest eagle species ever known. Its wings stretched nearly 3 meters wide, and its talons were the size of a tiger's claws. This apex predator hunted the mighty moa, a flightless bird that stood 12 feet tall and weighed over 200 kilograms. It was like a real-life clash of titans. Sadly, when humans arrived and hunted the moa to extinction, the Haast's eagle also vanished, its ancient food chain broken forever. An incredible reminder of how fragile ecosystems really are. Fact number 3. New Zealand's name came from the Netherlands. Abel Tasman, the Dutch explorer, was the first European to sight New Zealand in 1642. But when he found this strange coastline, he didn't realize he was looking at an island. He thought it might be part of Staten Land, near South America. Later, Dutch cartographers renamed the land Nova Zeelandia, after the Dutch province of Zeeland. When the British arrived in the 18th century, they anglicized it to the name we know today, New Zealand. But just imagine, if history had taken a different turn, we might be calling this paradise Staten Land, or something entirely different. Fact number 4. A land born of fire and ice. New Zealand's violent tectonic past. New Zealand isn't just breathtakingly beautiful, it's alive. It sits smack dab on the boundary of 2 tectonic plates, the Pacific and Australian plates. That makes it one of the most geologically active places on Earth. Over millions of years, earthquakes have shattered mountains, volcanoes have formed entire regions, and the Earth itself continues to shape the land. The bubbling hot pools of Rotorua, the smoking craters of White Island, and the snow-capped peaks of the Southern Alps all tell the story of a land constantly being reborn. In Maori legend, the mountains and volcanoes are living beings, fighting, loving, and weeping. And when you stand in the middle of this raw, untamed landscape, it's easy to see why. Fact number 5. New Zealand played a bold role in World War I. When World War I broke out in 1914, New Zealand, a tiny nation of just over 1 million people, was quick to respond. In fact, it was one of the first countries to take military action against Germany. Within days of Britain declaring war, New Zealand forces seized German Samoa, a German colony in the Pacific. This swift action made New Zealand one of the very first allied nations to strike in the war, showing a bravery and loyalty that far outweighed its small size. Thousands of New Zealanders would go on to fight in Gallipoli and on the Western Front. Sacrifices still honored today on Anzac Day, one of the country's most sacred national holidays. Number 6. Once, there were 22 sheep for every person in New Zealand. You've probably heard the joke, New Zealand has more sheep than people. But it's not a joke, it's a fact. In the 1980s, the ratio was staggering, around 70 million sheep to just over 3 million people. That's nearly 22 sheep for every single person. Sheep farming wasn't just a quirky detail. It was the backbone of the country's economy, driving wool exports and shaping the rural way of life. Today, the number has dropped to about 25 million sheep, as dairy farming and tourism have taken over. But still, wherever you drive in the New Zealand countryside, you'll meet more sheep than humans. Fact number 7. How the Lord of the Rings put New Zealand on the map. Before the year 2000, most people couldn't point to New Zealand on a world map. But then, Peter Jackson, a homegrown Kiwi director, turned the country into the mythical world of Middle-earth. The mountains became Mordor, the forests became Fangorn, and tiny Hobbiton in Matamata became a permanent tourist attraction. The Lord of the Rings trilogy and the Hobbit films brought in millions of tourists, forever changing New Zealand's international image. What was once an overlooked paradise became one of the most sought-after travel destinations in the world. And yes, you can still visit the Shire today, complete with hobbit holes, gardens, and a green dragon inn. Fact number 8. The first country to grant women the right to vote. In 1893, while women in Europe and America were still fighting for the right to vote, New Zealand became the first country in the world to grant women that fundamental right. The movement was led by Kate Shepherd, whose fearless campaigning inspired generations. Today, her legacy is celebrated on the New Zealand $10 note, and her story is taught in every school. It wasn't just a win for New Zealand, it was a spark for the global women's suffrage movement. And it all started on these distant islands in the South Pacific. Fact number 9. Kauri trees, older than dinosaurs, still standing tall. In the misty forests of Northland, towering kauri trees rise above the landscape. These ancient giants have been growing since before the time of the dinosaurs, over 200 million years ago. The largest kauri, called Tane Mahuta, meaning Lord of the Forest, is estimated to be around 2,500 years old. Standing beneath it feels like standing in a living cathedral. But these trees are under threat from a deadly disease called Kauri dieback, reminding us that even the oldest beings on Earth need our protection. Fact number 10. New Zealand has a claim in Antarctica. Not many people know this, but New Zealand has its own slice of Antarctica. It's called the Ross Dependency, and it was officially claimed by New Zealand in 1923 as part of its ties to the British Empire. Today, New Zealand's Scott Base, established in 1957, serves as a hub for Antarctic research. Scientists there study climate change, extreme wildlife, and the mysteries of the polar ice. So, from the warm beaches of the North Island to the frozen wilderness of Antarctica, New Zealand's reach spans some of the most remote places on Earth. Closing music, uplifting and warm. Narrator, friendly, sincere tone. So there you have it. From ancient birds and volcanic landscapes to women's rights and hobbits. New Zealand's history is more than a list of dates. It's a living, breathing story. But we've only scratched the surface. There are hundreds more hidden secrets waiting in the forests, mountains, and waters of this remarkable land. Now it's your turn. Which fact blew your mind the most? Tell me in the comments below. I read every one. And if you love stories like this, please comment, like, and share this video with your friends. And most importantly, subscribe to the AndroJourney Story YouTube channel, where your next great adventure begins. Until next time, this is